Hello there. Good evening to you. Good morning. Good afternoon. And top of the moment or top of the day to you from wherever you are watching from. This is Mayegun live. And as you are joining me, remember, before you settle down into this broadcast, you can quickly give me that thumb up under the video. Subscribe onto Mayegun's Diary Political if you haven't already. And if you have subscribed, right, set your notification. Check if you set up all notifications. Good enough. We have about 37,000 subscribers on Mayegun's Diary. Over 37,000. Only 20% of us set up our notification after subscribing. You might need to do that. If you have already done that, you can also easily share the video. I want to do the same just before we continue. Thank you so much for joining me. And let's do that. Share the video. Invite your friends. Just for a minute.
Woman begin dey the street they hawk. Still them talk say make we no talk. But thank God say Mayegun don't come. So my people make you laugh. Oh yo yo, Mayegun don't come. Oh yo yo, my people make you shout. Oh yo yo, Mayegun don't come. Oh yo yo, Mayegun the command of the masses. Oh yo yo, Mayegun don't come. Oh yo yo, Mayegun Diary Political. Oh yo yo, Mayegun don't come. Oh yo yo, this man not dey off in mind. Oh yo yo, Mayegun don't come. Oh yo yo.
Thank you very much.
Aha! Now you wanna don't hear all these bad politicians them we call themselves politicians. When they thief our money, we no want to make the common man get what he supposed get for this country. Una never hear something. Una go hear one.
Yes, una go hear one. Thank you so much for joining me. It's going to be a beautiful evening again tonight because I was reading the news. And again, it was Tifnumbu who made a statement on this breakup. You remember, it was sometimes in April that Tifnumbu went to Kano when they were organizing a birthday for him, right? It's like on the last lap, just like MKO Abiola. I'll get to that, all right? He was there last month to go and familiarize with them, right? He gave them money in Katsina State, the marketers or the traders who lost their wares during the fire. So he was in Kano, and in Kano, he said, if they break up Nigeria, or if Nigeria finally breaks up, right? They will need a visa to go to Kano. That's what he told his friends, his Emirate friends, that you see how easy we came to Kano today in our private jets. No problem. But if to say Nigeria don't break up now, we will need visa. And when Tifnumbu came back to Lagos, where he has his base, where he has all the people who believe that maybe, it is their destiny. You know what I'm talking about? To die in poverty, in want and complaints. And they should, while they continue to pray for the long life of Tifnumbu. It is just a choice. And I'm also going to get to that. So Tifnumbu was attending a meeting or a Ramadan lecture yesterday with all other top government officials from Lagos State. And he made a statement again. He said that he has nowhere to go to if Nigeria break up. I have nowhere to go to. That statement is a false, or let me say it's a fraudulent statement. And you as a Yoruba man, Yoruba woman, watching me right now, or wherever you come from, in any part of Nigeria, as you are watching this video, people are going to be making similar statements, telling you that breaking up of Nigeria is a call for war. Like there is no other solution. It is war. And if the war should start now, where are we going to go to? Who are we going to run to? Oh, we will start killing ourselves. Hello. These are the guys who are bragging that they have the best of the best education. They have been to the best of the best institutions all over the world. And they understand the word referendum. But they won't promote it because, you know, ironically, yeah, they will have nowhere to run to be who they are now, as much as Nigeria has given to them. Do you know that it's actually a privilege that these criminals who are claiming this ethnic jingoists from Yoruba land, from Igbo land, from Ijaw land, from every land, all over the place. These freeloaders, these scavengers, opportunists, we call them, right? They will be making statements to tell you that asking for something better is a call for war, even though you are not calling for one. Also, to them, if Nigeria should break up, or if Nigeria should be properly, in a way, federally structured, they would not have this kind of audacity, effrontery to steal from you and flaunt it in front of you, buying themselves a private jet, buying you know, confiscating people's properties, government properties for themselves, stealing your money, bragging about it, and then offering to help you or become people that think for you. This is the traits, or let me say, these are the traits of freeloaders. People that tell you, if you believe us, if you depend on us, we can make it better. That's where Tifnumbu belonged to. Somebody, deceiving themselves, dining with the devil, if we can use that, and at the same time, daring, without considering the consequences of his own association, by tagging Yorubas. I'm so glad that today it is changing. Let us admit to that. The numbers of those who were living in that, that myth, that fake progressive or whatever nonsense these guys are propagating, the numbers of those who are believing in them are reducing and reducing. So if they say they have nowhere to run to, it is because there is nowhere in the world that they can live the type of life and get away with it. The type of life they live in Nigeria, those criminal politicians, there is nowhere in the world they can live like that and get away with it for free. No, nowhere. And it is true. The moment the people begin to be involved in saying, this is the country we want, this is how we want to be governed, the moment the people have a say into how they are governed, how they elect those who represent them or lead them, or how to unelect those who represent or lead them, once the people's power comes to play, these guys will become nobodies. They were supposed to be nobodies. They were freeloaders, opportunists who saw the gap between the vulnerable people and their desires, and they decided to be the messiahs who can fulfill your desires. Like they say, the motivational speakers, they aspire to perspire, to acquire the maguire, to require them maybe retire, whatever it is. All those things that they don't make any sense if you are very smart, right? They don't make any sense. But these guys fill in the gap like con artists. They know what people want. They know people want better things. Oh, don't worry, we'll give it to you. In 2015, Tifnumbu, meanwhile, before then, by the way, Tifnumbu belonged to the generation. When they interviewed Bola Tifnumbu prior to 1999, and he was talking about one Nigeria. Tifnumbu told people, he said, I don't believe in one Nigeria. It doesn't make any sense. How can you call a country one where the standard of education, or let me say the parameter used in determining the intelligent quotient of the people, the standard is skewed. Same thing with what they call the internally generated revenue. You steal from the rich region, and then you feed the supposedly rich region too, but who have grown lazy enough to rely on that stipend every month. How does that make a country one? When people can't control their own resources, they can't utilize what what God, they call God-given resources. They can use that to the development of themselves and their own immediate environment. How does that make a country? It doesn't make any sense. If you want to have a country called Nigeria, that's what Tinubu said. He said, if you want to have a country that is called Nigeria, let the Igbos manage their own affairs. Let the Yorubas manage their own affairs. Let the Hausas manage their own affairs. And on and on and on like that. Let them manage their own affairs and then contribute to a center on a certain agreed, what do you call it? Some agreed arrangement like defense. Okay, let us contribute. Not just money. That's how you call a country. But you don't just say one Nigeria, where scavengers, thieves, criminals, terrorists prey on the other region that they can live free on. Free money. That was what Tinubu was until 1999. Before then, he became a senator. He was a senator. What can you really say was his own contribution to what? To the Yoruba involvement or Yoruba's being part of Nigeria. Let's start with that. Nothing. They went into an arrangement with Babangida. The Babangida will be president. It was all about what they can get from the system. This guy belongs to that category. And I am now old enough. And somebody is telling me that I should listen to such character. This is way back. Oh, they made arrangement with Babangida just because to have access to that free money. They were elected as democratic senators, democratic governors. But Babangida is the military head of state. That was an arrangement. That was what gave them, that was what made him senator, criminal, Bola Tinubu, 1992. Then 1993 came. Abiola, who was pretty much like this Tinubu, he had all the money. He was able to have access to, the military, his friends, who gave him free money too. He made a lot of money. Built a lot of mosques. Built churches, sponsored so many things that made him feel like he's the man of everybody. But his friends who made him, they kept telling him, you can build 1 million mosques in northern Nigeria. You are still an infidel. They told Abiola to his face. For those who are really, really old enough or smart enough to follow the history. So whatever Tinubu is today, Awolowo even tried it too. Let me tell you something. There is this mentality with the generation that came before independence and those that came immediately after independence. When Awolowo left Nigeria, colonized Nigeria, and came to the UK for his education, right? And Awolowo saw how the UK society was organized in a way that he was like, why can't we have same? You know, that kind of exposure that makes you feel like, why can't we have it better? What is wrong with us? Then they joined politics. And that was exactly what he fought for. But there's always this stage where they begin to feel like they have this magic, I don't know, this magic wand that they can use to make Nigeria a great country. Something you have no clue about. I don't know where that comes from. Awolowo tried too. He wanted to be president of Nigeria. Awolowo and Shagari. Shagari, grade 2 teacher. Awolowo, famous premier of Western region. The person that fought for self-rule for Yoruba people before independence. A great man. He wanted to be president of Nigeria. To be nice, Awolowo was using the resources of Yoruba people. Flying helicopters to Kano to go and share clothes to the children who are dressed naked. He wanted to show them that they can live better. They can have free education. And their leaders were like, are you mad? Who the hell are you? Who the hell are you? You want to tell us that we didn't raise our people right? Awolowo, a Yoruba man, he became a nationalist. Hey, one Nigeria. Abiola came by destroying Awolowo, using everything, collaborating with the with his own military friends, Boko Haram, Muritala, Obasanjo, Gowon, the Danjuma, all of these guys. He became their friends, their contractor. The story of MK Abiola was selling wood. He was selling firewood in Abeokuta. That's how he became a billionaire. You can say that in our, our folk tales, our fairy tale moment with kids when we want to eulogize our heroes. But you don't give that as history. That's not the history. And he made his money from there. By what? By sabotaging Awolowo. Those who know the story. Until Awolowo ended up in jail. And Abiola became the darling of northern Nigeria, the promoter of Islamic religion in western Nigeria. It became a symbol, something that gave him that belief that, yes, I can make Nigeria great. You remember, when we were growing up, they were telling us that all that is needed for Nigeria to be a great country was for Abiola to become the president. That's it. They told us, so as part of the FABU, they told us then, they said, Awolowo, Abiola, Abiola had ordered more than 100,000 cargo ship of food. Imagine that nonsense. So in the 90s, they were telling us that. I wasn't too young. Food will be everywhere. Abiola has so much. Abiola is so rich. He's richer than Nigeria. Abiola is so rich. He's borrowing smaller countries' money. They told us that all we needed was that. Abiola did not need anything from us. They didn't know that Abiola was spending the money he stole from you through his friends in the military. I'm saying this because this is the same narrative they are giving to you now about Tifnumbu, but go and check their antecedents. What exactly can you say they have to use to convince you as a Yoruba man that because Tifnumbu, he has nowhere to go to after 22 years of being the political godfather, local champion, after 22 years, if Nigeria finally break, Yorubas have nowhere to go to. Is that what Tifnumbu wants you to believe? And because there is nowhere to go to, let us just stay put to Jare. Sorry guys, some people are talking about the audio. Let me know if you're having problem with the audio. Please, let me know. I'm going to read the comments, by the way. Thank you very much. AYIT, thank you. So if you're having problem with your audio, I think you should come out of the broadcast and go back in, just for that, all right? So I am saying this to you because the same narrative is what they are telling you now. It is Yoruba's turn. It is our turn. Don't let anybody tell you anything. And it is only Tinubu. Tinubu is the only bigger person for us. He's the only person. No other Yoruba person. What is your business with Nigeria? What is that thing? That they are telling you that you are so hopeless, nowhere to go to. And you believe them. But let me tell you something. Those who are telling you that there is nowhere they can go to now, they were those who once campaigned for Oduduwa Republic. And that's how they gained prominence. That's why it is sad that it is so difficult to convince so many people that many of us talking about this whole problem, preferring solutions all the time, asking you that you have a role to play. Two, it is becoming so difficult because people feel like some of you are just doing this to gain prominence, become popular. Last, you self go post, you go paste posters and say you want to become governor, you want to become senator. So it puts a dent in the credibility of the effort of trying to tell you that even when they are good at what they do, that that shouldn't continue to put you in that fix of no choice. That what do you want us to do then? What do you want to do? That's the question you should be asking. It is the same narrative. They said Abiola is dead. Yorubas are seriously upset. What can we do? Let us call all their political players. Let us pay them. Give them enough money. Just give them something. They will go and tell their people and convince them why they have to be patient. Breaking up is not the answer. War is not it. Then you begin to see the people. They were talking to you as elders. They've gained prominence. They will begin to change their tone, start telling you that, okay, since they have now decided to write a new constitution, let us give them time. What the hell is that? And that is the narrative. They told you in 1999, oh, a Yoruba man, once they give them Yoruba man, they will be fine. Even when 80% of the Yorubas never for once believed in Obasanjo. But he became the president anyway, and he used his 8th term, attempted to change the constitution to continue. He was using all of that in the name of Yoruba, so that had to shut everybody up. And they are saying, Nigeria is bad. When Yaradua came, Nigeria is shut up. Why are you complaining? You not do your 80 years. So it became turn by turn at the expense of the people. People who became poorer, those who would die for no reason. And these guys are still using the same narrative. And you possibly continue to believe in them. Let me give you a reminder. Because if you don't remember the time of Awolowo, if you don't know much about the time of MK Abiola, but maybe you can remember very well the time of this guy 6 years ago. The same guy that is now in love with Nigeria because it's like, it's my opportunity. It's my opportunity. Me too, I will be president. Sure, Obasanjo no do 80 years. Have you been to Abeokuta? Have you been to Ogun State? Been to Ota? Have you been to all these places? Can you now face the Yoruba people and say, once Tinubu become the president of Nigeria, then you will be safer. You will be prosperous. Your children will be life of your children will be secured. Your children will have a good education. Healthcare system will be built. And yet, 22 years, they don't have any functional, world standard or any standard at all, hospital in the entire Lagos state that can even take care of Buhari. Is that the people that will be president? And then they will change it? Abi? If you don't remember all those periods, maybe you remember this. It was just 6 years ago.
Every nation have a period of their own challenges. When America was challenged, they turned to one great man, their ex-military general, General Eisenhower. Correct? When French was challenged, they turned to their general, Charles de Gaulle. Correct? Yes. When Britain was challenged, they turned to their great general, Winston Churchill. Correct? Yes. Today, Nigeria is challenged, economically challenged, physically challenged, security challenged. Who do we turn to? General Muhammad Buhari is the right man for the job. If you talk of military experience, he has it abundantly. If you talk of courage, he has it abundantly. If you talk of simplicity, he has it abundantly. If you talk of great determination, a combination of vision and ability to perform, honesty and integrity, he has it abundantly. 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 And borders are allowed.
That was the rogue 6 years ago. But the same man, about 3 weeks ago, has this to say in the same country that Bokwari is now the president. This is also recent as well.
I hope the president himself will not pay attention to austerity. I spoke about it just this last Saturday. Inflation, the question of inflation. It is only the state that must constrain itself on balanced budget. It is only the local government that must restrict itself on balanced budget. Sovereignty is that of Nigeria, and it is only the federal government that has that sovereign power and must use it for the benefit and development and the health, quality of life of Nigeria. That's why they are sovereign. It is time. We are under police. And we are competing with armed robbers and bandits to recruit from the youths who are unemployed. 33% unemployed. Recruit 50 million youths into the army and take away from their recruitment source. What they will eat? Cassava, àgbàdo, corn, and the morning, yam in the afternoon. Is growing here. You create demand as consumption. So over 5 million army of boot camp. We create our food. I mean, that's money for the farmers. That's consumption.
Six years after calling on your own General Churchill, Eisenhower, and Charles de Gaulle, your own Bokwari, after 6 years, Fulani terrorists are now killing everywhere. It's either they are disguised as unknown gunmen, or they are disguised as a Nigerian military force member, or they just go in their regular jihadist pro, 6 years after that. And the man is now saying, now that they have pushed Nigeria to the breaking point, they are now talking about, I have nowhere to go to if Nigeria break up. What happened to Lagos State? Lagos State should be small London. It should even be happy that finally they can use Apapa money. Use Apapa money. Use all your own generated revenue. Use them for Lagos State and, shouldn't it be? Because they wanted to go and taste oil money. The same way that they have in Lagos State too. If Nigeria is working, the likes of Tifnumbu were telling us then that the only thing that you needed was just to give Al-Qaeda People's Congress, that you should just give them the opportunity to give you change. And then they will do this, what they call the restructuring, to defraud many of you in their rigged bogus election in 2019. They even set up El Rufaya, the Kaduna Little Finger, They even set a committee up, APC committee on restructuring. Fraudulent people, very fraudulent people. And they don't even blink about it. And now that Tinubu is suffering from dementia, an acute one that is degenerating every day, by the way, the same Tinubu is lost, confused. The Yoruba land that they told us that they are the progressive of Yoruba land. No electricity, no road, no schools, no hospitals, no security. Economic ruined. People have now turned to praise of kidnappers. Do you understand what I mean? That is the 22 years. The worst of it, the last 6 years. So, of course, Tinubu will have nowhere to run to. Not even in Nigeria. Because Nigeria is not going to be safe for him anymore. Nigeria is not safe for any Yoruba in Nigeria. If you're a Yoruba man or Yoruba woman in Nigeria today, you know you are not safe. You are trapped in there. Anything can happen to you. Yes, anything can happen to you. You know that. And some people made that happen. We say elections get consequences. So elections have consequences. Consequences of agreeing with criminals, freeloaders, jobless opportunities. These guys have no means or any real job. That is why when they join politics, they will tell you they are lawyers, but you will never find any case they tried before. They will tell you they are doctors. You will never see any medical facilities that they actually worked before. They will tell you that they are businessmen. You will never see any businesses they built to success before. But the moment they join politics, they are billionaires because it's free money. Then they begin to tell you, did you know that I was working for Shell? Really? So you are working for Shell, and so Shell is billionaire. I mean, what do you call it? All of a sudden, you are a billionaire before you became, you know, these guys have any real job. But they are the people that will decide how those of you who are professionals, good citizens, how you pay your tax, how much you pay, and whatever they want to do with it. Criminals in charge, freeloaders, opportunists. Do you get that? That's what these guys are. And it is a career for them. Look at them. When Abiola died, what happened to all of his billions? What happened to all the billions they told us that is richer than Nigeria? What happened to them? Because it was they were given to him by his friends who killed him and took everything. Why are you not asking for that? How come Abiola children, they are now beggars, begging for political crumbs everywhere, begging for patronage here and there? Abiola children, no, their papa, if democracy happened and Abiola was alive, Abiola will be your godfather in Yoruba land today, using the money he gained and stole with his friends in military. No be so? And now his children, they are everywhere, you know, children of thieves, children of this. These guys are freeloaders. When they tell you that they can make Nigeria work, and you ask them, how much have they made Yoruba land work? They are the guys who negotiated the worst deal for Yoruba people. What Yoruba people want is not too much. Let me make it easier for you, so that you will now understand why Yorubas are asking that we want self-determination, since we can't get restructuring. When we asked for restructuring, they told us it's against the North. When we asked that, Yoruba should be allowed to, should be allowed to undo our own affair, make our own law, extract our own resources, and build and grow according to our own terms and conditions. They said it's against the North. So what else do they want? They called for national conference. Memorandum were submitted, right? They refused to implement them. Yet, you have Yoruba governors. You have Yoruba senators, Yoruba reps members. You have been having Yoruba House of Assembly members from 1999. Thousands of them, they have pledged to Nigeria, their country, to be faithful, loyal, and honest, to sell their own people's safety, freedom, and prosperity for the pot of for a plate of porridge. That's what these guys have been. These guys were supposed to be your representative in a union called a country. And if you are in a union, you must have a say when something is not working for you. But they never did. They said if you try it, these Northerners will not agree. If you try that, they will not agree. Or if you try to ask them for this, they will not agree. Everybody is telling us that they will not agree. They will not agree. But they come back to tell their people, we are going to make your life better. Oh, we are going to build roads. We are going to build hospitals for you. And we're going to do this and that. And we are going to work on electricity. When they know that they will never be able to do it, how would they be able to do it? When they are beggars every month. These are people who should be, you know, in Abuja, Yoruba governors, so wherever they come from, whatever party they represent, if they are representing Yoruba for the past 22 years, there should have always been fight in that National Assembly. To the point that even Northerners that have managed to rig the system, they will know that there is no peace anywhere. Forget faking any unity. But they are not representing any Yoruba, representing any Igbo, representing anybody. They are representing themselves and their political godfathers. Because whatever they replicate in Abuja is what they are actually practicing from those who send them from your local government level to your senatorial district. We know these things. And these are the guys telling us that if we ask for anything better, we are asking them to kill us. How can you be representing Yoruba, speaking Yoruba, and you are seeing everything an average Yoruba man and woman, Yoruba son and daughter, you can tell what they are going through if you ever have any chance of thinking at all. And you still face us that we have to take it or go and pray or try to make it all about you. Do you know what that's what they are doing? When politicians who are supposed to be Yoruba politicians, who are speaking Yoruba, and you expect them to stand up and defend the interest of Yoruba in Nigeria, they will be defending the interest of Borono. They will be comparing the life in Kano. You will be seeing them fighting because of something for them in Jigawa, as if to say it was the people of Jigawa that elected him from Iseyin, or the people of Bauchi that sent him to Abuja from what do you call it? From Akure. And they do this just to, I don't know. And these are the guys telling you every now and then, when you tell them that Yoruba deserves better, and it is your job, if you don't know, to ask for that. And forget all this political patronage. It is your job to ask for them. Then they will tell you, asking for it is asking for war. When your representative tells you that asking for something better is a call for war, what do you think he's doing? He is doing the bidding of those who put you in that situation. It's never going to help, but he's going to pretend to be helping you when he is not. 22 years. 22 years of democracy. We are still talking about no electricity, no this, no that. Now we are talking about no security. So are you prepared for another 22 years? Because if you continue to believe the likes of Tifnumbu, she's been 8 years. Forget about it, that 2023, there will not be any election in 2023. Forget about that. But that doesn't mean that they won't declare themselves winners. Don't be deceived. Even if Nigeria is burning, like smoke up, these guys, they need that for 4 years validation. Do you get that now? They will write their result just to make them stay and continue to pretend that they are governors, they are senators, they are reps, and he's president, vice president. You know what I mean? They will do it because they know that people are no longer interested. So to say people are really not interested anymore. These criminals told you, part of what they told you that they didn't do. The same Tifnumbu who has nowhere to run to now. Electoral reform that actually makes election credible. So that maybe people can then, if they have credible election, right? Maybe they can elect responsible people that can actually go there and ask for Biafra, change the law, ask for Oduduwa Republic, change the law. You know what I mean? Maybe people can then do that. But you know all of that are rigged already. Forget it. It's a pure waste of time. Do you understand? So, but they will still do it. Even if they are killing everybody everywhere. I mean, like proper word. The whole world is reporting that like Syria in Nigeria, these guys, they will still, INEC will still declare election day. their media in Nigeria, they will still publish winners. And people will still celebrate and jubilate in that chaos. But that won't stop what is coming. That's what I want to tell you. It won't stop what is coming. These guys don't represent Yoruba. When they tell you Tifnumbu represents you, think about it. Yorubas don't have anybody to speak for them. Yorubas have never had anybody speaking for them in Nigeria. Do not be deceived. I don't know how old you are. But if you have the capacity of critical thinking, you will agree with me. Nobody has been speaking for Yoruba in the project Nigeria. Because if people have been speaking and fighting for Yoruba, you and I will know. Imagine Yoruba governors telling the government of Nigeria that except we have this to allow us to develop and build our people who elected us. We have limited time to do all of this. But with this arrangement of Nigeria, we will never be able to achieve anything we promise our people. Imagine 6 governors in Yoruba land staging a walkout and then give Nigeria ultimatum that if you don't agree with our demand, then we are going to agree with our people's demand. We're going to declare a republic out of Nigeria. Imagine if they do that. Wouldn't you call that a fight for Yoruba people? Would you find it difficult to know the news if they say all the Yoruba governors walked out? All the Yoruba representatives in Abuja, senators, reps, they have staged a walkout and they are not returning to that Abuja until the rest of Nigeria are ready to give Yorubas what we want. We don't want your land. We don't want your oil. We don't want your money. We don't want anything from where you come from in Nigeria. We just want to be in charge of our own stuff. Is that too much to ask? Or can you tell me any of them doing that? So if anybody tells you that the reason why you have to consider Tifnumbu is because there will be nobody to speak for Yoruba, remember they sold the same lie to you in 2015. Vote Buhari. They said, think Oshibajo. Vote Buhari. Remember, that will bring Yoruba man closer to the... Yoruba man will become the second in command in Nigeria. How far with that? 6 years down the line. How far? Now, the same people who told you that in 2015, that Oshibajo was so smart that he's going to be in charge of the economy, blah, 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 blah. The same people are now telling you that. What do you want Oshibajo to do? Oshibajo is just a vice president. Really? Now, you are now asking Yoruba to say, oh, let us go behind Tifnumbu so that we can have somebody speaking for us. Really? Come on, man. They say, fool me once. It's your fault. Fool me fool me once is your fault. Fool me twice, it is my fault. But when you fool me multiple times, what does that make me? What does that make you? Think about that. I'm talking about critical thinking now. A country where the CBN governor came out and agreed that they were printing money. They are printing money not to put the money in industries, to help industries, to increase production, which will in turn help increase job creation. And you see this unemployment, joblessness, this social media Bambiala and all of that they have turned so many people to. People that were feeling like probably more responsible 6 years ago. But when Nigeria happened to them, they turned to social media Bambiala to survive. Maybe if they have been printing money, investing that same money in those industries that are dying and packing up, and they are not busy trying to strangulate all the businesses by killing them before they even learn how to crawl. They killed so many businesses. You know that. That increased unemployment in Nigeria. But when they started printing money, they didn't think about those industries. They didn't think about all of that. It was printing money to share. We thought that was recent. Remember when their CBN governor came out to deny it? And he said, yeah, we are printing money. We're just trying to help our country. No, everybody is trying to make it like it's a big thing. It is a big thing because they didn't tell anybody that they are printing money. They are printing money. They are borrowing money. They are selling government properties. They are relooting returned loot. They are emptying everywhere. And they said they swore an oath to hide it from all of you. How many things are they hiding from you? Amaechi said they swore to an oath to hide the truth from you. And this money they are printing, there is something called hyperinflation. Before December 2021, you will be changing your naira for about 1,000 naira to £1. That is just a press up, a pre-hyperinflation Zimbabwe that all of you have been reading about. Zimbabwe, as big as you think Nigeria is, Zimbabwe will be a child's play to what is coming. They are printing money, sharing the money, stealing what they can steal, and then leaving all of you empty-handed. NNPC has become a total disaster. Bokwari made himself Minister of Petroleum. Do you know that? This guy has no clue. This demented megad has no clue about anything petroleum, but he understands the dollar. He made himself the president. He made himself the Minister of Petroleum. Destroy everything that is left of your refineries. Decided to invest more in Niger Republic to be refining 20,000 to 40,000 barrels of crude oil a day. Destroyed everywhere, right? And the same NNPC, as we speak, apart from the fact that they are unable to account or remit over $300 billion for the past 4 years, that their balance and all of that, imbalance, so forget it. The same character in NNPC, they will sell your oil, tell you whatever they declare is whatever they declare, Abi. Now, in April 2021, NNPC in Nigeria, NNPC in Nigeria declared a zero sale. That means as big as Nigeria is, they said Nigeria is extracting and exporting, or should I say Nigeria is extracting 2 to 3 million barrels of crude oil a day. If you multiply 3 million by 10, that is 30 million. By 10, another 3 million by 10, 30 million times 3. 30 million, what am I even talking about? Yeah, 30 million times 3, times 3. That means Nigeria is producing oil, 2 million every day, or let me say 3 million every day, 90 million barrels in a month. 90 million. And NNPC in Nigeria sold that oil and they declared zero return. The CBN governor came out and he said there is nothing wrong in printing money. Wait for Amaechi's shocker. It will shock you.
If you understand the concept of printing of money is about lending money, right? That is our job, right? To print is about saying lending money. So there's no need putting all the controversy about printing of money as if we're going into the factory printing naira and then distributing on the street. It is very inappropriate for people to just give some coloration to the word printing of money as if it is some foreign word coming from the sky. Okay, so I think it's important for me to put it this way, that in 2015, 2016, the kind of situations we find ourselves now, which is even worse than what we faced in 2015, 2016, we did provide budget support facility for all the states of this country. That loan remains unpaid till now, and we are going to insist on the states paying back those monies going forward, since they are accusing us of giving them loans. That's what they're saying. And most countries in the world today are confronted by not only health challenges coming from the pandemic of COVID, and also economic crisis and the rest of them. And what I keep saying this, it would be irresponsible for the Central Bank of Nigeria or any central bank or any Fed to stand idle and then refuse to support its government at this time. And what is being done, right, is being done in any climb. And at the last Monetary Policy Committee meeting, I did say And I gave data about what is being done, even in developed economies, about what needs to be done to shore up their economy and take them out of recession. Nigeria is unfortunately in a very bad situation. I'm not going to pretend about it, in the sense that we are facing problem about productivity output, which is GDP. Luckily, we managed to just come out of it with a hair's breadth, and we are working very hard to see how we can not only have our head above water, but get our waist above water. That is what we are focused on right now. And of course, we're also confronted by issues of inflation and prices and the rest of them. And so for us to begin to see that some people playing some games, trying to come up with overheating this polity, talking about printing of money, I think is very unfortunate and totally inappropriate. And I would like to advise that this should stop. We should all work for the growth of our country and not playing politics. I'm not a...
That is the blackmailing part. We should all work, no plan. Oh boy, he tried to link printing of money to COVID-19 because the whole world is printing money. This guy started printing money from day one. No wonder they kept this guy. They arrested everybody for looting, stealing. And this is the guy giving them the money under Jonathan. Do you understand? This is the guy, central bank governor under Jonathan. Bokwari arrested everybody, but they kept him. Emefiole, they kept him. So, Ashe, he's been printing money for them since day one. Only God knows how much they have printed. Unaccounted for. That money is in your economy. The whole thing is like, Amaechi said, oh boy, we don't print money since we day one, but we swore to our notes. We will not tell anybody. Everybody just, okay? Watch.
And most of you didn't know that at the time we took over, most Nigerians don't know, because we are going to agree not to tell anybody. We are printing money. Do you know when the country prints money? When it has no money at all. No, nothing. We are just printing money to pay debt.
You know why more country prints money? When they don't have money at all. We swore to our oath never to tell Nigerians. That's what I said. We swore an oath. No wonder Amaechi was defending Niger Republic, borrowing money in the name of Nigeria to build rail line, $1.9 billion to build rail line from Katsina to Maradi in Niger Republic. And he was defending it. They asked him, what about the East-West Road, where you have a lot of traffic there, especially for people who are importers, who are using Lagos port to move their goods to the east? This road will do a lot. Why don't you construct a train from Lagos to the east to make that easier? That's more profitable. He said, how much are we going to make there? How much do you think? He debased that idea. He said, I know we can't do that. That one is better. No wonder. And here is how this affects you. Whether you are a Yoruba man, whether you are an Hausa man, whether you are an Ijaw man, wherever you come from, right? For everything they do in the name of Nigeria there, every ruin and the consequences that comes with that, you will be affected. The consequences of being forced to still continue to be part of Nigeria by giving you different excuses, why this and that, go and face your governors, go and meet this and that. How can you go and face people that are part of it when you can actually get rid of all of them? How? I picked up a report. This report is also the consequences of, just to let you know that it doesn't matter. Everyone involved in this criminal cabal enterprise in Nigeria, they come from everywhere too, including those who speak your language. And when they tell you that you can't have it, or you can't have it better, other than the way they want it to be, which is what it is now, and they're asking you to keep that, yeah? Amechi, you know him. He can talk. When he was governor, he had this to say before they brought in Bokwari. It is a legendary talk. And I think it is getting there.
There must be mass action. There must be mass action. I continue to say people must come out to the streets. You see, one thing about Nigeria is the moment they see the police and the army, they run away. And that's because most of the people who come out actually are not poor people. They are rich men or rich men's children who want to enjoy themselves. The day the poor hit the street, then all of us will be on the run.
All of you will be on the run?
Yeah, including you, you're already on the run, so you're in America here.
Yeah, you're right.
All of us will be on the run. That time for them to be on the run is so close. It is not because anyone will have to ask them to run. When the people realizes their power, they are going to ask for what they have taken from them back. They will be unstoppable. They will be unquenchable. And they will be in no way suppressible, so to say. You'll find it so difficult to defeat people's power, like Princess put it the other time. We received the news that, you see those Greenfield University students, that they killed 3 of them. I mean, they've killed 5 of them now. They are going to kill 17 of them tomorrow. We didn't know that all this while. Not that the parent didn't try. Do you know that the parents of these children and so many other well-wishers, they've actually raised about 45 million naira and they have given it to these terrorists. And they're still keeping the children. When they asked them, do you know that the terrorists actually phoned in into an Hausa radio program today? And they said the 45 million naira they collected from the parents of the kidnapped university students, they have used the money to feed the children in their captivity. So, except the family and the government pay them 800 million naira. As we are talking right now, the clock is counting, is ticking. They said they're going to kill 17 of them tomorrow. So you might wake up tomorrow with the breaking news. This has happened. I'm not going to say God forbid. Many people have prayed. God forbid, God forbid. They have, they've run out of that. Right? Oh, blood of Jesus. God forbid. It has gotten to a point whereby, people don't even express too much shock anymore. That is the consequences of one Nigeria. I just want you to know that because it's going to change tomorrow. And hopefully they won't carry that out.